Does this sound familiar? You've got one device that lets you catch the game live, another that lets you stream your favorite shows, you're watching sports highlights on your phone, and you've got your neighbor's best friend's login for all the good stuff. Well, I want to tell you about a simple way to get all that entertainment you love without the hassle, and a great way to finally get your TV together. It's called DirecTV Stream, and it brings your live TV and on-demand favorites together like never before, so you can watch your favorite sports, movies, and shows all in one place. That means no more juggling remotes and no need to buy another device ever again. And the best part? There's no annual contract, so get rid of the clutter and the confusion and get your TV together with DirecTV Stream. You can learn more at directtv.com. That's directtv.com. Compatible device required. Content varies by package.
I'm staying up extra late tonight to see a test train pull into Brighton Station. One of my favourite locomotives might be on it, so we'll just have to wait and see. It's 73962! Oh, it's it! It's it! Oh, quick, I've got to get round. I've got to get round to see it. This is beautiful 73962. Dick my butt. What a beautiful locomotive she is.
Good morning, sweet world, and welcome to the No Dunks podcast on the Athletic Network. It's Friday, October 30th, and this is The Drop. I'm J.E. Skeets, and alongside me, as always, we got Tass Millis.
What's up, everybody?
What's up, Tass? We got Top Shot Hot Boy, Trey Kirby.
Hey-o.
Hey!
Yo, the international man of mystery, taking it to the max, Lee Ellis.
Friends.
And last, certainly not least, making the magic happen with these cold opens, it's JD.
Hello.
There he is, and here we are. Shout out to the stream team for joining us live right now on YouTube. If you guys haven't already, subscribe, like, comment, share the show. Our goal is, was to hit 50,000 subs by Halloween. We've ticked up. We've gotten closer.
We've ticked up.
I think we're going to come up a little short of 50K, but that's okay. We'll get there by Thanksgiving. Just move the goalposts. That's all you do. Fun drop podcast. Obviously, rapid fire fun and tweet of the night. A little Halloween segment for you guys to get you in the mood. We're calling it Trick or Treat, looking at some early season trends and whether they're sustainable or not. Just quickly, Lee, what are the boys dressing up for Halloween this year? What are you going as?
We had a Civil War soldier. Yeah, I know.
Which side?
Well, to be perfectly honest with you, JD, I think the red side. Not sure how that's going to go over, but
We're in the South, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what else?
My wife and I this morning just had a bit of a glance at each other and thought, maybe we should have thought differently about this one. And then we got Black Panther. Safety there with Black Panther. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Excellent. And what about the girls, guys? Trey, what are you guys rocking with here?
We had an explorer go to school today and a Cinderella go to school today.
Okay.
So-
You say it like there's going to be a wardrobe change come Halloween.
We got so many costumes
okay.
here, Skeets. It's like we might have a different costume every 2.5 hours once the weekend finally hits.
Exciting. And Tass, I know Zoe. Zoe is one of these kids that seems to really like Halloween, which I dig. She's not afraid of the spooky stuff. So what is she going? The skeleton? Is that what I saw a photo of, I think?
Yeah, she's been a skeleton. Yeah, we're probably in V3 here of Halloween's. I mean, they had some classroom stuff. But now that I heard that the South is taking up arms, I think she can put on her Northman costume. Take care of business.
And JD, your boys are older. Are they out of the Halloween phase?
No, they're not trick-or-treating. They're going to a party. I have no idea what they're dressing as. I know that Rachel, she found a badge in our costume tickle trunk, just a badge on a chain kind of thing. And she's like, this is my costume. I'm going as a undercover cop, like literally a badge. And I'm like, no, that's pathetic. So I sent her to Goodwill and she's like dressing as Cagney and or lacy. So she got like 80s. She's gonna feather her hair. So still using the badge, but they put a little bit of effort. You're going to a Halloween party, for God's sakes. And I have no idea what the boys are going as.
Okay.
It's going to be a last second decision.
Those are sometimes some of the funnier costumes. Just for those that have no idea what you just said there, tickle trunk. Definitely a Canadian reference.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. What would an American call it? Just a costume trunk?
I don't know. I call it a tickle trunk now, but I guess it's because we've been friends for a decade. I don't know that it has a name here. Storage thing.
It's a box full of goodies, really.
Yeah,
that's all.
It's a box full of costumes. Yeah. It's from a very popular Canadian television show for kids called Mr. Dress Up. He had the tickle trunk.
That's right. We keep our sex toys in it
creepy.
too, though.
Yeah, right.
Obviously.
Okay. So great. Well, happy Halloween to everyone out there. Stay safe this weekend. Let's get into the games from last night. Had some really entertaining ones, and then we'll get to that trick or treat little fun later on. The game we start with, though, the Knicks hang on to deal the Bulls their first loss, 104-103. The Knicks Bing Bonged your Bulls, Trey. So get us started. Very crazy game that the Bulls even had a chance to win this, but where do you want to go with this one?
I gotta admit it. They straight up got Bing Bong last night, Skeets. The Bulls were not back enough, but they were almost back enough. I will say the most hyped October game since LeBron James debuted in the NBA 18 years ago today. Totally lived up to the hype. Come on, that was fun times last night, no doubt about it. The Knicks severely outplayed the Bulls, I would say, for the first 45 minutes of this game. They built a 13-point lead with about 3 minutes remaining, and then the Knicks went ice cold. 0 for 7 from the field, 0 for 3 from three-pointer, and most importantly, when Julius Randle went to the free throw line with 5 seconds remaining, Knicks up by just a point. 0 for 2 for Randle. I'm on my feet. I'm thumping my chest like Joakim Noah. I'm yelling, let's go, to nobody. Can't even get Laura to come downstairs to see this last attempt. The Bulls have a chance to win it. They're inbounding on the right sideline to get the ball into DeMar DeRozan. He fakes a handoff to Zach LaVine, takes a couple of dribbles, pump fakes, lets a jumper go from 15 feet.
Not even close.
Not even close. Bing bong, bing bong. Knicks win, Knicks win. They are undeniably back, but I cannot wait to see 7 more games of this in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Oh my goodness. What'd you think about the final play call there, Trey? Any issues with it? Would have liked to see the ball go back to Zach LaVine, who was inbounding it, like you said. Too much congestion over there. Barrett played it well. What'd you think of Billy Donovan's call there?
Last thing you said, I think, is the most true thing. RJ Barrett played some great defense on this one. I thought this was a fair enough play call from Billy Donovan. We just saw DeRozan carry the Bulls to a victory against the Raptors, hitting a bunch of fadeaways. The play was nice. When he fakes the handoff, if you pause it from the other baseline angle, Fournier and Barrett are both going towards Zach LaVine in that very split second. So DeRozan trying to get downhill. Maybe he could have gone a little bit more towards the basket, but I thought Barrett did a great job of recovering. Nice job staying down on the pump fake, what you expect from DeRozan, and made the shot really tough. The changes I would have made, maybe DeRozan should have been the guy inbounding to Zach LaVine. Then you probably don't necessarily get the action with the Knicks chasing DeRozan because he's not as much of a threat from three, but you're putting the ball in the hands of your best player. But like I said, DeRozan just had a great game against Toronto, so I don't have a problem with him getting the attempt. Maybe Vucevic should have been in the other corner because it gave Mitchell Robinson a pretty easy help onto DeRozan once he finally started to make the move. But really, I just thought it was Barrett made a great play to get back into the play because he could have been beat pretty easily right there. So I don't know. Maybe DeRozan should have went straight up and not pump faked. I don't know.
Yeah,
whatever it was, I don't think it was so much the play call that was the problem. I thought it was just a little bit better execution from the Knicks than the Bulls.
Yeah.
It was wild that he pump faked himself. I mean, he took Barrett. The handoff was great. He got space, and then maybe it's because he saw Vooch sort of in his peripheral coming to him that he decided to pump fake some air, but that allowed Barrett to catch up. And then there's something going on mentally there that he stopped the movement. I mean, he was in his shot. It was like a practice shot, really, when it came down to it. But he pump fake nobody. Nobody fouled him, and Barrett recovered, and I was way short. I mean, there's something going on that he's way short.
Not close.
Lee, I want to know, did you turn that game off? Because Trey said it. They were up 12-13 a couple minutes to go. They had outplayed them. Knicks were cruising to a victory. Did you click away? Did you go check out another game, or did you stick with this one? I kept it on in the background, I'm happy to say, because I was getting ready for this show. Just leave it on, and then you're like, whoa, this is a game here. They got a chance. But what'd you do?
I didn't turn it off in the physical sense, but yes, in the mental sense, I thought, because the Bulls didn't deserve to win that game last night. I thought the Knicks did outplay them for probably 43, 44 minutes there. I thought the Bulls were okay, but they just couldn't seem to sort of get that lead to where they needed it one possession with about 5 minutes to go. It was just the Knicks just kept on extending it, kept on getting good enough looks out there. And when Zach LaVine had Taj Gibson on that last basket they scored, I thought, oh my God, that's the best thing Zach LaVine could do here is absolutely devour the old legs there of Taj Gibson. Now they know Mitchell Robinson, he's a little bit slow himself, but if Gibson's out there and you've got the mismatch, you do exactly what Zach LaVine did there. So that was the only thing. DeRozan deserved that last shot for sure because he did do such a good job against the Raptors. But I think that if you're Zach LaVine, you're also like, if I get that mismatch again, give me the ball. But in those short time, you've only got a couple of seconds to make a decision. I think you go with the more safety option there of DeRozan. And he missed it clearly by a mile. But I thought overall, the Knicks and Kemba Walker especially, I thought was fantastic in this game. I think he finished 5 of 6 from downtown and just giving them that support because Julius Randle had another good statistical game without impacting it like we saw him last season. But for him to be able to fire the ball out and find Kemba on the 3-point line like that, I think that's just such a huge difference from the Knicks last season. They just didn't have that guy out there. Reggie Bullock hit a couple of threes, but, obviously it's a huge upgrade over Frank Ntilikina and other guards they've had there in the past. So
Elfrid Payton.
Elfrid Payton's the other one. Yeah. So overall, I thought the Knicks hung on. They clung on. Seeing Julius Randle's second free throw there because it rose up high and he was trying to will it in. It couldn't drop for him. It would have been a heartbreaker there for the Knicks to lose this game. But it had I didn't think it was a great game, a great contest. It was more like a playoff game where it was a bit of a grind. The Knicks were never home, but the Bulls were never quite close enough either until that mad scramble at the end. Vooch hitting that big 3 was huge as well because, he had the arms up for the crowd. Everyone was going crazy, and it was you sort of felt maybe they can steal it. But in the end, I think the right result was that the Knicks deserved to win the game.
Yeah, I thought their defense was pretty damn impressive. Like their game plan of anybody but Zach and DeMar, the way they were aggressively doubling those guys, getting it out of their hands. Then they switched it up, how that help was coming and then recovering. This is classic Thibs stuff here. But the Bulls are a great defensive team too. Yeah, that in that sense, it had the little throwback vibes to it of let's go back to the 90s Bulls Knicks heyday where nothing's going to be easy. And it was fun. It came down to the last shot, of course, and that's what we want there on TNT. NBA TV. Tass, anything else to add to this game, especially from the Knicks side of things? Has there been a better addition to a roster over the offseason than Kemba Walker through the first, 9-10 days of this NBA season? He's been instrumental in this hot start for them.
Yeah, but this was definitely a great game. He's been hot and cold. There's got to be better additions out there. It's got to be. He's had some bad games. I thought this one, his bounce looked way different. He looked real good. And yeah, it was Julius Randle, I think, had an incredible 3 for 11 game. He did not shoot the ball all that well, but throw him on the block and he's going to find guys cross court. It was those passes that Lee mentioned there. Kemba's sitting on the other side of the floor. That's a hard pass. The lefty just puts it in one hand and just rifles it to Kemba. So Kemba's game really came from Julius Randle's 9 assists. That was him making things happen, and then he boarded like crazy with 16 boards. So a big effort from Julius Randle to make Kemba. He was into his shots. He got a little springier. I don't know if it's, the feeling that it should have been on TNT or something. Like it was Thursday night. Obviously, there was the hype there. The only person who wasn't excited was Aaron Gray, former Chicago Bull, sitting beside Joakim Noah, not moving. Everybody else was pumped. Thabo Sefolosha was pumped. Luol Deng got up, but Aaron Gray just chilling. I thought it was pretty cold. The producer went back after Julius Randle missed those 2 free throws, went back to Julius Randle. Yeah, trying to will it in, struggling, just that bad free throw. His face, get in there. It was awesome. That was awesome TV. It was a really close game. The Bulls just had to recover a little better on those passes and not fall asleep a little bit. And yeah, the inside is going to be a struggle this year. I don't know about this Bulls.
Oh my goodness.
This Bulls defense. And
my goodness.
The rebounding.
If I have to see another play that ends with Nikola Vucevic running back up the court after giving up a bucket while holding up his hands to show the ref that he didn't foul, I'm going to throw something through my TV. This guy is infuriating right now. Skeets, you posted the clip on Twitter last night. Fast break defense running the other way.
And it worked.
It did work. It did work. Probably because you never see somebody play defense with their back. But
no look
I
defense.
don't know. Has Vucevic ever in his life jumped to block a shot? It didn't happen last night.
Yeah.
I don't know. What did Mitchell Robinson end up shooting? Let's see.
I think
here.
4-4. I think a lot of them were just
4-4. It was 4 alley-oops in the first 3
Yeah.
seconds of the game. They're just dumping it over the head to this guy. But then Vucevic hits the big 3 in the fourth quarter, and I'm 100% back in on this guy. That being said, the Bulls are going to have to figure out something. They're going to need Tony Bradley is getting healthy again, but he's not really going to be the answer. Patrick Williams went out with a sprained wrist last night. He hasn't looked great to start the season, and you could just tell that the Bulls were the smaller team last night. Like, they had Lonzo guarding Julius Randle for a lot of this, and he tried hard, and he was doing a good job of getting deflections and steals, but Randle's like bulk and size was a massive factor, and like he didn't shoot very well, but like you're saying, Tass, 9 assists for Randle, and it was just because the Bulls had to keep doubling to try and get the ball out of his hands, and then it was just a wide open 3-pointer. Usually for Kemba last night, RJ Barrett had one. Evan Fournier made a couple of threes, and that was the difference there. But the Bulls looked tiny. They looked tiny compared to the Knicks.
Yeah, Kemba Walker, by the way, shooting 58% from 3 right now. That is just an unbelievable upgrade for the Knicks backcourt that got nothing from distance last year with those guys that we mentioned. Other people are throwing out, huge pickups during the offseason. DeRozan would be one of them for the Bulls' strong start. Kyle Lowry, of course, going to Miami and the impact he's had on that team. Rubio Tess on the Cavaliers. So, there are other ones, but I think Kemba's in the mix. I think he's been, you're right, there's been some duds, but 58% from 3, my God.
Yeah,
he looks right.
Yeah. He can't play every game, 30 minutes a game, but you call up Sam Preston and you say, hey, OKC, you want to dump anybody on us? Yeah, Kemba Walker, take him. He's just a huge upgrade on Elfrid Payton, who was not shooting last year, not his thing. So, yeah, big time. It was cool. Thibs, I know nobody cares about coaches, but Thibs comes in there and just gets his D to play. That must have felt so good. He must have smiled for the first time in 4 years, that was.
Maybe until they blew it at the end. I'm sure that's all he's pissed off about. Yeah, but you're right. They were playing great defense for a majority of that game. They were locked in. I got a question with the Joakim Noah night here, Trey, and I saw our guy Kelly Dwyer writing about it in his newsletter. Why? What? They didn't want to retire his jersey number, instead just say, here's a night and let's honor you. Like, why not go in the full distance here with a jersey retirement for a guy that played 9 seasons there, 2-time All-Star, 3-time All-Defensive Selection, 1 Defensive Player of the Year, some playoff success. I mean, no championship, but ranks pretty high in some of the categories when we're talking boards and block shots. Why not?
Because the Bulls are a prestigious franchise, and they have very high standards for retiring their numbers. They haven't retired a number since Scottie Pippen.
Okay, that's got to be the answer for sure.
Yeah, when you're one of the premier franchises in the NBA, you're allowed to be choosy with these sort of things. You got to win a title at this point to get a number there in Chicago.
Dig in, man. Dig in.
You can't even you can't even have I don't know, some of these stadiums and arenas have like a ring of honor or something like that. It's like the level down from a jersey retirement. Just night. We're just going to give you a night, bring all your friends back. And by the way,
they made him an all-time a lifetime ambassador, though.
That's true. I guess.
Whatever that means, I'm not sure.
Yeah, he's their.
But Drake. He's like Pippen. Pippen has
he's like a Pippen. Exactly right.
Okay. I was gonna say the broadcast though. The video was nice. Everybody talking about Joe, but where they had him in the arena and the camera angles they had, we couldn't even see him. Couldn't see his reaction. He also wasn't helping us out by remaining seated for a good chunk of it. Then he finally stood up, but yeah.
All right, I'll stand up. I thought that was very funny too. You should stand up when you're being honored, and the entire arena is standing up and clapping for you. Guy. But you mentioned Thibs not smiling. Everybody else was smiling in the arena during the Joakim Noah tribute. They showed Joakim. He finally stands up. He's happy. They cut to Taj Gibson. He's smiling. Derrick Rose points up into the crowd, up to Joakim, saying, "Hey, what's up, buddy?" And then they cut to Thibs.
Nothing.
He is not smiling. This is during the game. We can celebrate later. This guy was stone cold serious out there, which I thought was great as well. But also nice to see everybody come back.
Before the game, the Bulls shared some photos of Thibs and Joakim Noah having like an embrace, and the smile on Thibs' face then, it was like his son had graduated. He was so proud, and so that was good. But when the game tips off, no friends for Thibs.
No.
He's out there to win.
Here Logan Roy out there.
Here is a question from FL Warrior, or I guess not a question, more of a statement. D Rose will get his retired. What do you think about that, Trey? He still gets unbelievable ovations every time he plays there. Will Rose get his number retired by the Bulls? That's interesting.
That's a great question. I would say no. He does have an MVP, the youngest MVP in league history, and he is a Chicago guy, but I don't think that's the standard in Chicago.
Okay. Let's hear from everybody else in the stream team with that one. Do the Bulls eventually retire Rose's number? Let us know. Okay, let's keep it going here. Unless there's anything else you wanted to add, Lee, you must have loved the Caruso pass there.
Oh, yeah.
Baseline drop off to Zach LaVine. Almost some people saying very solid, but too sexy in my mind.
No, it was beautiful and solid. I just can't help but think of how the Lakers would love to have Caruso on their team right now in that backcourt. They could certainly use him.
Yeah, just add on to that. We took some questions on Wednesday show, mailbag show. Somebody wanted an award for the most impactful player who scores less than 10 points per game, fewer than 10 points per game. Alex Caruso being a guy who could win that award. What about the guy who gets paid in single digits too, who doesn't get paid $10 million? Caruso could be that guy too. He's getting paid $9 million. It's an interesting. Everybody's getting paid double-digit mil. Yeah, I would. Problem is too many rookies. Some rookies are still getting paid. Couldn't count rookies. Anyways, I'm just stretching this award thing. It's not going to work. But anyways, Caruso incredible on that Kemba defense at the end there. It's very solid.
Our other great game from last night. Lee, you can get us started here. Ja Morant, the Grizzlies, winning a thriller here against Steph Curry and the Warriors. Did you watch this one this morning? I fired it up this morning, but what do you think of this one, Lily?
Yeah, well, what do you want to point out first? The Grizzlies on the second night of a road back-to-back, their fourth game on the road of 5 to start the season against the rested Warriors who are unbeaten and at home. Steph Curry's on fire, and the Warriors are up 19 points in the first half. You could maybe go to bed thinking, okay, this one is a wash for sure. But instead, the Grizzlies fight back, and the Warriors, for an experienced team, really just fell apart down the stretch. They couldn't get their offense going. In fact, Steve Kerr tried to get Steph Curry into the game, but because there was sort of no delay in the game or no pause in the game, he didn't get him back in until just under 5 minutes ago in the fourth quarter. But you'd think still it's Steph Curry, fine. He can come out and shoot, of course, and score easily enough, but he wasn't able to, nor was he able to in overtime. Although the overtime, I wouldn't recommend you go and watch this overtime. It is not the prettiest 5 minutes of basketball we've ever seen there. But the Grizzlies hang on to win. And again, Ja Morant, what can you say about this guy? Another 30 points last night, hit a big three. His defense is great, and he leads that team, but he gets so much help from guys. Jaren Jackson hit another 3 threes last night with 15 points, and Desmond Bane with 19 points. Talk about the most improved table. Desmond Bane's got to be at the wine list right now, ordering what the table's going to consume, because he's been fantastic. But and the Warriors, for a team, unbeaten, but you just don't expect sort of careless mistakes. They got a 8-second violation late in the game there to turn the ball over. They turned it over 23 times at home. It's almost like the Warriors just have the Grizzlies have the Warriors number in Golden State, because they did the same thing last season late by stealing a game and dropping the Warriors into the play-in game. So this was, I know ESPN used to have that sort of scheduled loss calendar. Yeah. If you would have ever put a scheduled loss on, it would have been this one for the Grizzlies last night, because, as I say, they were in Portland the night before and got smoked. This is their fourth game. They've played both LA teams. You would think we've got to get home and let's just get out of here against the Warriors. Instead, they come back and win one of their most, easily their most impressive victory for this season. And Ja Morant, I keep on looking at that shooting stroke of his, the mechanics, and I'm like, I don't believe in it. But then he hits this massive step back over, or not really a step back, but more just a massive bomb over Draymond Green, and he leaves it hanging. 3D would be so happy there, doing a little dance. And the Grizzlies pull out this victory, and the Warriors offense, just the Jordan Poole hype train has derailed, I will say at this point. Derailed. It's come off the tracks a little bit. But they just really...
What's the train called? Dick McButt or whatever?
It's just shocking to see.
Oh, the 79236?
Obviously still without Klay Thompson there. But there's no other excuse for why this team couldn't score more than 3 points, I think it was in the end in overtime.
It was 6-3 in overtime.
6-3.
Yeah, that's how they usually go. Taz said that a couple days ago, but
yeah. So huge win for the Memphis Grizzlies and Taylor Jenkins there, looking a little bit like our friend Dave DeFore with the big bushy beard there, I thought, on the sidelines. Fantastic way for them to get that last victory of the road trip here because this one had sort of blowout written all over it, and it was going that way in the first half.
Yeah, Tass, what'd you think of this one? I mean, we had the Warriors having chances to win this game, especially Curry. Had some looks, and they wouldn't drop. Damian Lee had a 3 in overtime that would have tied it up, and it went bing, bing, like in and out, and he had some big shots down the fourth quarter. But, yeah, Grizzlies, man, what a win.
Phenomenal game, and they play the Warriors really tough. This is where the Grizzlies' depth pays off, right? In regular season games, when Curry went to the bench in both the beginning of the second quarter there and then the beginning of the fourth quarter there, they got plowed. They lost by 15 points when Curry was on the bench, and the Grizzlies' depth comes into play. It's it's a double-edged sword because in the playoffs, because they don't really have top-heavy talent, and because everybody starts to play a little harder on the defensive end, that depth is sort of canceled out. But that's why they're a great regular season team. The opposing stars rest, boom, they can win those minutes. And that's why they won this game when Curry sat 15 points. But he came back, and that 19-point lead was erased. It was real close. Damian Lee has been phenomenal. That Draymond Green walking across the midcourt line with just over a minute left for that 8-second violation, amazing. The Warriors are so good at turnovers. They are so good at them. No one can do it like them. But yeah, if Jordan Poole is all of a sudden morphs into Klay Thompson, then they win this game. So Klay's got to come back. Poole is he's ice cold. He got out of the pool and now he's waiting for a towel, man, because he was fine in the preseason, 36%, but since he is ice cold, as our man Anthony Slater has pointed out, 7 of 31 in the regular season, including 5 air balls. Anthony Slater digging in on where do you find those stats? He's obviously looked at every one. He's 22%. So they need Klay. But I mean, what a game! What a game for the Grizzlies to knock off Golden State. The Grizz are climbing.
This is going to sound dumb. Does it count as an air ball if you shoot a 3-pointer from 30 feet out and you only hit the glass? Obviously, it's hitting something, but it's just the same as having an air ball.
Yeah.
And I know Jordan Poole had one of those early in the season, a big-time pull-up glass ball. So maybe it's 6, but Steph Curry sat too long in this one. He only played 4.5 minutes in the fourth quarter. That was ridiculous. Kerr wanted to rest him, but then Steph Curry went and played in overtime, ended up playing 40 minutes anyways. Probably don't go to overtime if you bring Curry back in a little earlier. But he didn't have a great shooting night either. That being said, when Jordan Poole doesn't have it going, he's the only other guy who really creates offense for the Warriors. And if he doesn't have it going, you got to get Curry back in as soon as possible because that's your MVP. That's the best player on the court out there. So that to me is a little bit on Kerr, just having this guy rest a little too long.
Yeah, I don't even think you're as upset with Poole not being able to hit a shot right now, which isn't great. I get that. But 6 turnovers from him, and then you're pairing that with 5 from Curry. Okay, he's always got the ball. Draymond, he forces some things. Like you said, the crazy 8-second violation, that he had 5 as well. I mean, that's a lot right there from like your 3 quote-unquote sort of best players on this squad right now. Just too many, 22 turnovers. It's going to be tough to win a game. And they nearly did. Again, I mean, Curry had a really good look at a game winner. I mean, you're going to take that shot. He'll probably hit that 8 times out of 10. He even said it. He's like, no, it's a good look. I should knock that down.
And he before they gave the intentional foul just before that.
Yeah.
And he stepped into it and banged it.
And he hit it. Yeah, that's right. Oh, he also hit a shot in this game, a running
one-legged
floater 3-pointer. Yeah, one-footed 3-pointer. It was at the end of the first half, right? Or getting down to like 30
second
seconds.
quarter, yeah. Bob Fitzgerald called it a Steve Nash, which was interesting.
Yeah.
Going left to right. It's not a Dirk.
3.
Yeah.
That's great. He had another shot in this game too, where he double pumped, like sort of double clutch, and then sort of chucked it with one hand. Like he didn't have his guide hand on the ball. I don't know if you saw that one, Lee. It was in front of the Warriors bench, I think. It's just the shot making for this guy.
I don't remember that one in particular, but with Steph, he does get kind of those shots off. Because actually, just one thing quickly as well, talking about the James Harden free throw as well. Steph Curry hasn't been getting them either this season like he has in the past, and so has Trae Young as well. I wanted to bring this up yesterday, actually, I forgot to, about how it's not just James Harden who's being impacted by the new rules. Other star players are also not getting the free throws that they've gotten in years gone by, and that's great for the league.
We got some more free throw talk later on in Trick or Treat, Lily. Yes. You didn't look at the rundown. I just found out, but that's okay.
I'm going to bring it up when we talk Hawks. Even earlier, you want to talk throws. Trae Young had something to say.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll get there in a second. Just quickly here, let's slip this in. Luka Doncic scoring 25. Mavs beat the Spurs 104-99 after some very wild swings. San Antonio jumped out to the 25-5 lead to start this game, but the Mavericks bench was pretty instrumental in getting them back in it, especially Brunson and Maxi Kleber. I'm going to say this, Lee. I'm going to throw it out there. Is Maxi Kleber better than Kristaps Porzingis? He might be. Honestly, he might be, because he played about 30 minutes, Maxi did in this game. Chipped in 12 and 10. Okay, 12 points, 10 boards. He hit 4 3-pointers. He had 6 blocks. He was a plus 22 in this game with all these wild swings. No Porzingis in this one. He didn't play. But through 3 games that he's played, he has a total of 18 rebounds. He has a total of 6 blocks. And he has a total of 4 3-pointers made. So, I mean, what my point is, like, Maxi Kleber basically just, like, matched his entire output this season through 3 games. He's really good. He's really solid. And Porzingis is what I'm getting at. He's just been very disappointing. I had high hopes for him bouncing back this year, and so far he hasn't.
Yeah, they didn't miss him at all last night.
That's my
all.
point.
Jalen Brunson is their second best player overall, I think. But Kleber was out there good, spreading the floor and hitting those shots. Now, last came back in the fourth after Hawks smacked the Mavs, and I wasn't all that convinced of their team, of the way that they played their offense. Now, they've rattled off 3 straight wins since then, but against the Raptors, they came back. Against the Rockets, they should win that. And then last night was a bit of certainly a wild one, how it was swinging around there last night. But still just not convinced about the Mavericks. Just don't. I want to see them play a little bit of a tougher competition, because I just feel that they rely a little bit like you're living by the 3, you're dying by 3. I know that's the game these days. That's the league. But I'm just not sure that is a reliable way for them to continue winning games. But let's get to the Porzingis chat, because surely right now the Mavericks are like, okay, we have to try to trade him, because he doesn't really impact the game. And Luka, I think, is going to be better with just these guys around the floor that just spread it out. And Porzingis doesn't really give them that inside scoring option that they would like to have. If he's going to post up and get those in the paint shots that are hard to defend, great, but he's not really doing that either. He's not really impacting defensively, and he's not really rebounding the ball. So exactly what he contributes to that team, it's very difficult to see that it's significantly impactful at the moment. I think the Mavericks would be better off moving on from him if they can find a taker for his contract.
Anything to add to that, Tass? Porzingis playing like a shitty Bargnani?
It's true. Facts. No, it's hard to dispute that. I'm in the camp that every contract is tradable, but I don't know if this one's tradable. Usually these monster contracts, a la, John Wall of the last couple of years got traded for Westbrook. Those contracts get traded for each other. My problem for your problem. Kristaps Porzingis, $100 million left on his contract, essentially, for counting this year. I don't know. I don't see one out there. If somebody's making 33, like around 30 mil right now.
Right.
Is there
like a
somebody?
Ben Simmons? Ben Simmons for Kristaps Porzingis. Who says no?
Sixers, I think.
Theoretically, yeah, the Sixers say no, but also, like, what better back are the Sixers getting?
I don't know. Maxi Kleber. Ben Simmons for Maxi
Sam
Kleber.
said this before you said it. Don't suggest Simmons for Porzingis. It's pointless. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. Bargnani, is Bargnani available? Can the Mavs trade him for Andrea Bargnani?
How dare you, Rich? He says shitty Bargnani is redundant. Hey, come on.
Yeah.
Bargnani, ahead of his time, man. He'd be dominating in today's game. Luka was pretty special in this, though, I will say, like taking over in the fourth quarter. And I saw a bunch of Spurs fans, Graydon Gordian being one of them on Twitter. Going to be a lot of Spurs games like this where they're in a lot of games, Lee, because they, like we've talked about them, they have a lot of youthful talent. There's pieces there, but they may just not have, especially with DeRozan gone now, like they may not have the ability to sort of close games out, unfortunately, or maybe fortunately right now. You know, you get another pick and you're laughing because they do have good guys, but I think there's going to be a lot of losses like this. I would agree with Spurs fans saying that.
Yeah, and the same thing happened against the Lakers. They just couldn't close it out. They just don't seem to, which is unusual for a Greg Popovich team because these guys aren't just all rookies either. I mean, DeJounte Murray's been there for a while. Lonnie Walker's in third season, fourth season there. Derek White's been there a while. Like you would think by now they would have the Greg Popovich sort of mentality of like keeping it, keep your composure at the end of games, defend well, and take high percentage looks, but they're not able to do that. And yeah, this one, I think they were up 20-3 at one point, and then basically 27 each at some other point. So that just shows that they're not locked in as defensively as they need to be, but they've still got some talent on that roster. It's just, I mean, Jakob Poeltl's been playing really well for them too. So
he was good in this game too.
Yeah.
No doubt.
So
Jakob Poeltl's your best player, you're tanking. Sorry to say it, but that's exactly what the Spurs are doing, and it's a perfect tank team right now. Get a lead for 3 quarters, blow it in the fourth, you play hard the whole time, and you lose. What else could you ask for if you're a Spurs fan? Making the playoffs 25 straight seasons, sure. Number 2, though, would be getting a high draft pick.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Just a wild note from the Associated Press here. 17 of the last 21 games between these two teams, the Spurs and the Mavericks, decided by 7 points or less, so it's always a close game with them. And the Spurs and Mavs are going to play 3 times here in the span of 12 days, and their entire season series, Lee, is going to be over before Christmas. It's just a weird little scheduling quirk there between these intrastate teams here. So there you go. Okay.
Sorry, Skeets. One quick thing. I threw out the Porzingis thing. Who do you trade him for?
Yeah.
Trey threw out the Ben Simmons. The stream team is always extremely smart and will always find a good match. But I don't think even they could find one. Jimmy Jimerson threw one up there that makes you think. Kevin Love makes you think for a second, but Kevin Love's got a year shorter on his contract. I don't see the Cavs doing that. Why would they? Why would they take a long-term
They've already got their own shitty Bargnani and Lowry Markkinen.
That's right.
They're all the same guy.
Yeah, they're not doing that.
No, they're not doing that. No, there's just the stream team couldn't come up with one. David Hill said Porzingis for De'Aaron Fox because they have so many guards. Come on. Kings aren't doing that.
I like this one. Porzingis and Powell for Wall and Wood on the Rockets. I like the idea of John Wall becoming a Dallas Maverick. I think he helps. And I mean, Christian Wood is the best player in this trade for sure.
Yeah.
The Rockets
I think
aren't doing
Houston's
that.
saying no.
Yeah, I think Rockets are saying no to that. Okay,
Yeah,
but
this is hard.
Getting closer.
Dragic and Boucher for Porzingis, says Scott Ferris.
Hey, bring Bargnani back, baby!
Call it in. Call it in.
Let's go. Oh, my God. Yeah, okay. I'm in on that one. I don't mind it. All right, come on. Let's get to the other games here. 3 left. You can touch on any of them you want, Tass. We had Beal leading the Wizards over the Hawks 122-111. Embiid scored 30 on a bad knee. 76ers held off the winless Pistons. And the Jazz put 7 guys in double figures as they killed the Rockets 122-91. Utah is still undefeated, but no one cares because we will refuse to talk about them until they show us in the playoffs. But of those 3, anything you wanted to touch on?
Yeah, I can't really get too pumped for the lone undefeated team left in the NBA, the Utah Jazz. Obviously look good. The Sixers beat the lone winless team left in the NBA, the Detroit Pistons. Can't get too excited about that. The Hawks have an interesting couple of weeks coming up. You know how the Bulls are getting a real tough part of their schedule. So are the Hawks. And everybody wondering, are the Hawks this team that they were last year? Well, They're 3-2, and they've beaten the Mavericks. That was their best win opening night. They beat the lowly Pistons and the Zionless Pels. This was a back-to-back where they didn't play any defense against the Washington Wizards. The Wizards are one of those teams that are deep enough to beat good teams in the NBA. So the Hawks play 8 playoff teams from last season, their next 9 games, with the 9th opponent being the Golden State Warriors. Very much like the Chicago Bulls, basically identical. So what's up? What's up with these Hawks? I think a lot of guys can't find their flow. Like Kevin Huerter, his role has been taken by Cam Reddish. That's his role. Trey is the interesting. Trae Young. I got to talk about free throws again because it's a little different to me. His free throws have dropped 8.7 to 4.4 this season. So it's like half. Mm-hmm. And I know we've talked about, the change of the rules, but Trey doesn't think it's the change of the rules that's affecting him. It's not the pump, get a guy in the air, throw your body out, or the Chris Paul stop on a break, let a guy hit you in the caboose, or, throw your leg out for an offensive foul. Those aren't the ones that are bothering Trae Young. And it's true. The ones that are getting Trae Young are drive to the hoop, a guy defends like normal, and he kind of gets Trey on the go, and it's a little bump, and Trey does a good job of selling it like, oh, this guy hit me. And he's not getting those calls. He doesn't think that that's part of this new point of emphasis from the league. And that's true. It's not, right? Because he said, quote, a lot of my fouls, I'm driving and I'm smaller than a lot of guys, so they're knocking me off balance and knocking me off track, so that's a foul. If a ref knows the rules and knows that, they should call it. I just hope they call it within the rules because I know the rules too. I've done my research and my book work too. Great line. He said he's had conversations with Monty McCutcheon, the head of refereeing development and training. He's trying to figure out the rules. He's doing his homework. But I like a guy being able to play defense. I think that's kind of one of the other crappy parts about the NBA the last decade or so is that what is a defender to do? You can't put your hands on him. Right. Try and get your body in front of him. And that's kind of your position. And that's what's been happening is guys like Trey driving and a guy's just in his way because you have to defend somehow. And he takes a bump. And those are the calls he's not getting. So I like that he's not getting the calls, but he's right in that it's not really part of the rules. What do you guys think about that? I know, Lee, you just talked about Trae Young. We'll get to the free throws later, but you get in it, man.
I am enjoying the way the game is being refereed across the board this season. I think they're allowing a lot more contact, and I think that's great because I don't think it's egregious. I don't think you're seeing guys like just knock other guys to the ground and not get a call. But what I think you are seeing is guys, embellishing and trying to still draw guys into contact, and the referees are basically saying, we're not calling that this year. Now, that specific area you're talking about with Trey, maybe there's something there, but I think overall, the better thing to do is to not start calling that stuff because it's the same sort of idea where you're creating the contact. And that's what I think this whole sort of the rule change is about. It's like we're not letting guys come in and sort of lower their shoulder, or create a diversion from their normal route, path to create the contact. So I'm fine with it. And like I say, it's not just James Harden. I know because he's struggling and the Nets are struggling and his free throw numbers are down. But I'm seeing in several
it's across
games,
the board.
Yeah. And you're just seeing a lot more physicality, which I think is so much better for the game. It's a much better product to watch when it's like, you're not just like, oh my God, that guy, you're always calling that foul. Let's see guys allow a little bit more contact. And I think this is the right thing that the league has done.
Trey, you agree?
I think Lee nailed it, and I think Tass nailed it, and I think Trae Young nailed it. It's not necessarily the rules. It's just the NBA and the referees right now are allowing a lot of contact, specifically at the rim, and it's awesome. There are less free throws right now. Even the Vucevic thing, the guy is running backwards, and I think it was RJ Barrett maybe who was bringing the ball up. That could have easily been free throws in prior seasons, like just running into the guy who's not really involved in the play, but it wasn't. It was just a miss, and I think that has been consistent from game to game to game, as there are a lot of attempts at the rim, as there always are, not as many free throws, and guys are getting hit. Like there's just it's a lot rougher at the rim right now. And I think it's awesome. People, it's not just the chicanery and the tricky plays that have been legislated out, because those ones sort of have been legislated out. To me, it feels like something coming from on high saying, we're letting guys be a little bit rougher around the rim. And everybody likes that. And it's a lot more fun to watch.
Yeah. Just a note from Jazz Rockets very quickly. Little history. Jalen Green, Jordan Clarkson became the first two players of Filipino descent to share the court in the same game. last night there in that Houston-Utah game. Sort of a cool little note, even though the game was not close at all. Okay.
Andre Blatch never played Jordan Clarkson.
I guess not. I'm not sure how they count that. We're going to take our first break. When we come back, a little trick or treat, looking at some early season trends. Guys, I've compiled a list of 3 activities that are better at home. First up, sleeping in your own bed. That is obvious. Of course, you're comfortable with your mattress, your pillows, and, you stay in a hotel or somebody else's house and room. It's like, usually there's something off. Secondly, something better at home, I would say socializing. Throwing a party. Now, you may push back on that. You may say, what? You got to clean up after your own party at your house. Ooh. That's true, but also I can get really drunk when I'm throwing the party at my own house. I don't got to worry about getting from here to there. Once you're gone, I can stay up all night. This is my house. So I would add that to the list. And then finally, what about working on your bod? Yeah. Some people don't like the gym. It's intimidating. I don't even know what half of these machines do. It's a little stinky at times. You just do it at home in the comfort of your own home. That is nice. And Peloton delivers that workout experience that you'd never imagine was possible right in your own home. And now I'm at the part of this ad read where I'm supposed to make it my own, talk about my personal experience with the product.
Let's hear about it.
Yeah, dog, let's go.
I can't. I don't have a Peloton or access to the classes. But you know what? It doesn't even matter. Because all I've heard people talk about over the last 24 months is how much they love their Peloton. Tass, always talking about it. Trey, talking about taking the classes. Graydon Gordian, you'll hear him on No Breaks. I know he's got a Peloton. Even a girl I had a crush on in high school I saw on Instagram's got a new Peloton set up in the garage. She's loving that lifestyle. So I don't even need to do it. It's like osmosis. I feel like I'm a part of the Peloton crew. So they want me to tell you which music-themed class or artist collaboration really got me moving. I don't know. Who's on there, Trey?
Oh, Aditi just did a Beyonce yoga. Banger.
That's my favorite. Peloton wants to know which different class types I've switched between for a full workout. Tass, you've ever switched between workouts?
Oh, sure. I'd do some boot camps where you're doing a little run, then you get on the mat, switching on all times.
Oh my God, I love that. Peloton says, tell your audience how the community and the live high fives motivate you. Tass was just talking about that. That actually sounds pretty fun. I love a high five. So that's a cool little virtual high five. With the Peloton bike, there's nothing like working out from home, but you don't have to take my word for it, nor should you. Again, I don't have this. Learn more at onepeloton.com. New members can try Peloton classes free for 30 days at onepeloton.com/app. Terms apply. That's ONEPELOTON.com.
Every time somebody calls Grammarly Premium GP, I start thinking about that one Kirk Franklin song, Stomp, that got really big like in the early 2000s. Remember that song, Skeets?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, I do remember that.
At the end, you remember he's just, he's ad-libbing the whole time. GP, are you with me?
Yeah.
They were with him. And guess what? GP can be with you, too, by subscribing to Grammarly Premium. With GP, you're safe from embarrassing spelling, grammar, and punctuation mistakes. Plus, Grammarly Premium's advanced time-saving features help you write more clearly and efficiently. You can streamline your workload with seamless integration into Microsoft Office, your internet browser, your phone, and more. Cut down on editing time and write more confidently with Grammarly Premium. Right now, you can get 20% off Grammarly Premium by signing up at Grammarly.com/NoDunks. That's 20% off at GRAMMARLY.com/NoDunks.
Back with No Dunks, drop podcast here on a Friday. Halloween is this weekend, so we're going to do a little trick or treating, guys. Got a few early season trends that I want you to tell me whether they're a trick, not sustainable, or a treat, maybe legit, very tasty with what's going on here. So, for example, first one, Tass will go to you. Ja Morant, top 5 in scoring. Is that a trick or a treat? So a trick, no way that's going to sustain, or maybe it's legit by the end of the year. What do you think? Trick or treat?
Give me a peanut butter cup. I think this is staying up there. I think John Morant in year 3 here has just grown to a different level. Now there's some guys there, your Damian Lillards that we'll get to, that you are usually up there and might come rival Ja, but I don't see why John Morant would drop off far. I mean, he's at 30 PPG. That's a lot for a guy who isn't a 3-point shooter, but he has obviously grown in that space. And when he does get space, because he is warranted that people to come up and try and stop his 3-point shot. When he gets in the mid-range, how confident is he anywhere inside the 2-point arc? So I don't see this going anywhere. I think this is just a typical year 3 of a really, really good player. Year 3s tend to have players really develop, and that's what's happening with Ja Morant. I don't see him going too far. Again, the guys will come rival him, but Ja's got it inside, outside, and at this point, nobody's taking his shots on the Grizzlies. I think Jaren Jackson Jr. should grow into that a little bit more. Hopefully, he's clearly their number 2, but Ja is like Monte Ellis right now. That guy got it all in every aspect of the game, every aspect of offense. I don't see what he doesn't have right now. The 3-point shot, he'll come back to earth a little bit, but man, I think he's just grown.
Yeah, if you look at the leading scorers right now, Ja Morant is tied with Steph Curry, Lily, at 30.4 points per game. Durant right there, just a tick under 30 per. Then Anthony Davis at 28.4 and Karl Anthony Towns at 28. Then you got Giannis, and then it gets into some sort of crazy names with CJ McCollum and Harrison Barnes, even Miles Bridges knocking on the door there. But you think Ja Morant, I think the other way to look at this question is this guy going to be a 28, 29 point per game scorer here in just year 3? Can he do this for an entire season, or is this just like a hot start? What do you think? Trick or treat?
I think it is sustainable because Tass alludes there to his 3-point shooting, which is clearly the best of his career so far at 40%. I don't, that is certainly a high watermark. He's taking more and making more, but he does get to the free throw line as well about 6 times a game. And he's knocking down those the mid-ranges as well. And he's got the ball in his hands, 85% of the time he's out on the floor there with the Grizzlies. So he has the opportunity to decide if he's going to pass, which he's a willing passer, but he also can go out there and score and shoot. So I think this is also a treat. Will he stay at 30? No, I don't think so. But I think he can finish in the top 5, whatever that sort of number is, because we've seen such growth from him so far. So yes, I've got him in the treat column here, and I kind of hope he stays there as well, because every single basket he scores is almost like, oh my God, did you just see what he did? It's incredible stuff.
Trey, you buying this, or is it all a trick?
I'm with Corm on this one. Love Ja. This one's a trick. Top 10 is certainly more likely than top 5. I don't think he's a 40% 3-point shooter, which he has been to start the season. I also don't think he's a 55% shooter overall. He's hitting like crazy from the mid-range right now, shooting like 67%. Can't miss. That doesn't hold up. And the main thing, though, is that I think other players are going to pass him to get back into the top 5. Lillard has struggled. Beal has struggled. Embiid has struggled. Trae Young has struggled. Those are all players that I assume will eventually pass Ja as the season goes on, but he was 35th in the league in scoring last year, so jumping up into the top 10 would be huge.
All right, our next one here. Trick or treat. The Minnesota Timberwolves are a playoff team, because right now, if the playoffs were to start today, I love saying that, they would be hosting. Be hosting game 1 of a playoff series there in the 4th seed right now, starting 3-1, and looking pretty good here. So is this a trick or a treat? Lee, we'll start with you. The Wolves, are they going to be a playoff team?
I think it's a trick. I think they're tricking us. 7 of their first 8 games are at home. And look, they had a stinker of a loss there to the Pelicans, but they go to Milwaukee and get a good victory. That's great. But now they've got the Nuggets. They got 2 in a row at home against the Clippers, and then they go on the road and they play the Clippers again, as well as the Lakers, Warriors, Grizzlies. So I just don't. Yeah, I know. I want them to be a playoff team. I want to see the Timberwolves back there, because I think Towns sort of would be nice to see him in the playoffs more than just once in his career so far. I really like Anthony Edwards' game. I don't think D'Angelo Russell's performance against the Bucks was sustainable the other night. I just don't have that faith in him. So I think it's a. Does the play-in tournament count? If that's the case, then I'll say it's a trick.
That's true.
But I think it's a trick. I think it's a trick overall. I don't have a whole lot of faith in the Wolves being able to maintain this hot start by their standards.
Okay. Trey, what do you think?
The question all becomes, is the play-in part of the playoffs? And if it is, which I think it is, then yeah, I think that this is going to be a treat just because I think Cat and Ant are so good together. They've been one of the best two-man units out there. They're both putting up over 25 a game. I do think the defense is going to come back to earth because right now what the Timberwolves are doing is similar to what the Cavs did last year. You just press up really hard, let your athletes try and get steals. It works for the first month and a half of the season, but then teams kind of adjust to you. And that's when, if the Timberwolves haven't made a Ben Simmons trade, certainly their defense will fall off eventually. And some of the other teams in the Western Conference will start playing a lot better. But I got faith in Cat. I got faith in Anthony Edwards that they're going to keep it up this year. As long as they're able to stay on the court, I think they got a chance at the 10 seed.
Yeah, the Wolves right now, third best defense in the league. Maybe that's not sustainable, but are they a playoff team? And yes, we're counting the play-in, Tass. Is this a treat or is it all a trick?
I will get high on early season fumes like the next guy. Like I definitely am high on the Minnesota Timberwolves. But yeah, I think they fall into that play-in tournament category. How do they stay up there? Well, I think it's just more of an attitude thing on the defensive end. Anthony Edwards is playing defense. Can Chris Finch get this out of those guys all the time? As Trey mentioned, they are playing a lot of athletes. They're playing all the Jays, your Jaden McDaniels, your Jared Vanderbilts. Those guys, are they going to be able to support the Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns and just play hard on that end continuously? I guess. And then I think they can, but on the offensive end, yeah, what are you going to get night in and night out from Anthony Edwards, who I love Anthony Edwards' game. I think he has grown from year one to year two. But he did have a slow few months the first part of last season, and I hope it's sustainable, that he is running the show, basically, will get you last-minute buckets. I do believe this guy is, all-star written all over him, but in the West, it's tough to drag a team into the postseason when there's a lot of question marks. Besides him and Karl Anthony Towns, a lot of question marks on that team that have to, produce at the same time. So I'd like it to be a treat. I would like this to be very, very tasty, but I'm not sure.
All right, our next one here. Damian Lillard, through 4 games, is averaging under 18 points per game, 8 assists, about 3.5 boards. He's shooting 33 from the floor, 17 from 3. He's great at the line, but he's got a 14.4 PER for the 2-2 Blazers. So, trick or treat, Trey, you get us started here. Lillard not making the All-Star game, because we would all agree those numbers are not getting into the All-Star game right now. I don't care if you're on the top 75. But does this sort of become a reality here as the months move on? Trick or treat with Lillard.
I think this is a trick. I think we're going to see a better Damian Lillard. He comes out of the gate slow in multiple seasons. For a while there, it wasn't uncommon to see Damian Lillard get snubbed at All-Star time, basically because he had come out of the gate slow to start the season before picking it up as things went on. But Lillard has now made 4 straight All-Star games. Like you said, Skeets, he got named to the top 75 team. The era of Damian Lillard being a snub is over. He's getting the reputation votes now. Mm-hmm. So I think that he will be better come the mid-season classic. And when that's the case, he's going to easily get in there, because what are you going to say? Damian Lillard, not an all-star? I mean, if he's averaging 17 points per game, sure. But if he's at 25, if he's at 23, you're still saying he's one of the 15 best in that conference.
Lee, this is CJ McCollum's all-star spot. He's going to take it from him. That's what Trey's saying? He's going to bounce back. Or do you see these struggles continuing with Lillard here?
Nah, not with Lillard. He tweeted yesterday because someone put out his stats on the season, and he said, what did the 9 years say to the 4 games? And that's what I think it is. It's just Lillard. We've all seen far too much of Lillard to know that he just can't stay in a slump for too long. He's going to snap out of it. He shot much better the other night against the Grizzlies relative to the rest of the season. He's still not quite at his peak performance, but he will certainly have that reputation bump come All-Star time, because you just know he's going to be averaging 25 a game. He's going to be shooting better, and the Blazers will put together a bit of a win streak. That's the only thing that could derail his chances if they are really stinky and they're not in, say, in the top 8. come All-Star voting time. That could count against him, especially when you got guys like Ja Morant, who's a virtual lock to make the All-Star team this season. There'll be a few other guys coming for his spots, but veteran like Lillard, he's very well respected around the league, especially amongst the assistant coaches. I don't think he starts the All-Star game, but I'll be shocked if he doesn't make it this season.
Tass, what do you think? Trick or treat with Lillard not making an All-Star game this year?
It's going to be hard. I think he gets in because he is Damian Lillard. He just got named to the top 75. How do you keep him off? I think what Trey said about the mid-season classic, as Trey put it. I'd love for it to be called the mid-season classic.
Is that just for baseball?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
Who cares? Keep calling it a classic, just
Never
like
had
this
a
show.
tie in the NBA All-Star game. I'll tell you that much. Classic.
Get out of here, Bud Sealeg. Adam Silver would never let a tie happen, but there could be a lot of ties for these All-Star spots. Ja Morant, a lock, but if you look at the Western Conference guard position, there's so many good guards. So
okay, go through it. Curry and Luka will be starting.
Yeah,
they will be.
They get voted.
And then, Ja Morant. Then where's like Mitchell? Where's Booker?
Yeah,
is Chris Paul sort of gone?
Yeah.
Lillard and McCollum.
Yeah.
McCollum's always in the mix. And Lillard is usually one of them. Who else are we forgetting? I know there's many more. Like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I need Lillard.
Is Paul George front court, right?
I think it's front court.
Yeah.
I need Lillard to continue to not be able to hit a shot to help my chances of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander actually sneaking in here. But it's crowded, is what you're saying, Tass.
Yeah,
but you still think.
But the reputation will get him in, and you find a way to sneak him in there. There are 12 spots. There's some wild card spots. There's some injuries. I would be surprised if the NBA didn't find a way to get him in there, especially even if he has a slow start. It's understandable he had a slow start. He had the Olympics this year, as Amelia Earhart points out. He also got married. As Trey points out, he's a slow starter. That's understandable. But yeah, there's a limited amount of spots. That's why it wasn't a lock before the season that Ja Morant would get in there. But now with the way he's playing, they just got to find a way to get them both on there. But yeah, guys that are on the periphery. And Devin Booker would be on the perfect one. Not two Suns probably wouldn't make it. Obviously, at this point, they wouldn't make it. But, they were there last year. So, yeah, it's a tough spot.
Put me down for Lillard probably hitting 8 or 9 threes in one of the games this weekend because he'll just have an offensive explosion and he'll be right back in the conversation of being an all-star. So, yeah, probably just a trick with that one. Okay, next one. Little team here playing great. The Miami Heat. Trick or treat. Elite defense. So let's call it number one. Will they have sort of the best defense in the league? Is that a trick or a treat? Task, get it started.
How do you call a team being number one? They will have an elite defense. I think they'll be up there. The fact that they've got it all together this early, that's pretty freaking impressive. Right. With the head of the snake being new and Kyle Lowry, but they are a very, very hungry team considering the way they were embarrassed last year in the postseason. So. Yeah, let's jump to some conclusions. The Lakers are not going to be number one as they have been the last 2 years. So there's an opening there. The Jazz should still be up there. There are other good teams. The Knicks were third last year. So the Knicks should be up there, but I don't think they have the personnel that the Miami Heat do defensively. So yeah, let's do it. Get up there.
Okay, so you're saying that's a treat. What about you, Lee? Trick or treat? Heat, number one defense with a bang.
Yeah, with a bang, no. Again, it is the Jazz.
With a bam.
The Jazz, we just know this is what they do in the regular season. They lock teams up. But this is what the Heat culture is all about. This is what the Heat hang their hats on, really, is locking guys up on the defensive end. In fact, the most points they conceded was that blowout in the game one against the Milwaukee Bucks when the Bucks scored 95, but that game was over in the first quarter. Ironically, they lost to the Indiana Pacers there in overtime, which that to me, it doesn't look like a great offensive team, yet they were able to beat the Heat. So, but yeah, this team knows that it's all about if you can just make it as tough as possible for a team to score, then offensively it can maybe overcome some of the deficiencies that you have. But offensively, they're looking pretty good as well right now. So will they be able to hold for the entire year as number one? I say a trick, but they'll be in the top 5.
They'll be in the top 5. Yeah, okay.
Top 5.
I mean, I think that's fair. We're sort of getting into will they be a better defense than the Jazz, Trey, or maybe even a Raptors team, maybe even a Bulls team who's really surprised a lot of people. But
there's a trick for you.
Yeah,
That's a trick. The Bulls are not going to be a top 5 defensive team. I think the Jazz are going to be the peanut butter cups, and maybe the Miami Heat will be the 100 grand bar, supremely underrated, but an elite candy bar come trick-or-treating time. The only thing that seems unsustainable to me, the Heat are the best defensive rebounding team in the league right now, and they don't really have rebounders out there, right? Like Bam Adebayo is a good rebounder, but he's not one of the best rebounders in the league. I think the strength that the Heat have is that they have 4 guys who for a possession can guard anywhere from 1 to 5, and then Duncan Robinson is at least tall for his position. So PJ Tucker was basically talking about, like, this is crazy to think that I got to switch with Kyle Lowry. Okay, no problem. We can switch. But then I suddenly have to switch with Jimmy Butler. No problem. We can switch. Then I have to switch with Bam Adebayo. No problem. We can switch. They've got the pieces for it to be a good defense. And the only thing that seems kind of out of the ordinary is how good they have been rebounding. So I don't know. The defense they're playing right now is like historically elite. I don't think that will continue. Probably the Jazz creep up there as time continues, but the Heat could be the best defense in the Eastern Conference. I think that's certainly reasonable, especially considering Simmons and Embiid won't be playing together. I guess the question will be is if the Bucks are completely committed to being the best defensive team in the Eastern Conference during the regular season. We shall see.
We'll see. All right, next one. This guy's probably been the biggest surprise from the first 10 days of this season. It's Miles Bridges, who is averaging right now 26 points per game. He's played 5 games too here. 8 boards, 2 assists. The splits are like 53, 40, and 91. He's got a crazy PER of nearly 26 on a good Hornets team that's winning a bunch of games. Trick or treat, Lee. Miles Bridges, making the leap here in year 4. He's just gone to the next level. Does he sustain this?
Treat. Let's go with treat.
Right. Wow.
Yeah. Look, it's funny because when I saw that 3-point percentage at 40%, that feels higher. It feels like he doesn't shoot that well, but so far he only had one real stinker of a performance actually shooting the 3 on the season. He went 2 for 10 against the Celtics the other night. But other than
he's
that,
been a good 3-point shooter his entire career, though. Surprisingly, he was 40% shooter.
40% is like to me like the elite level, and I just don't feel he's that. But the numbers suggest that he is so far through the season. But I do think that he does take good shots overall. He doesn't seem to be someone who just goes out there and fires away like wherever he feels like it. Like he gets into the offense, he knows he's get the balls coming to him from LaMelo Ball. He rolls to the rim, and he's been able to get to the free throw line as well a few times. So I like it. I think he's that connection with him and LaMelo is so important to their success because they both understand their role. And without someone like Bridges being able to finish, that sort of impacts LaMelo's ability to run the offense. So I think so. Will he maintain this average? I don't think so. No, I think he comes back to earth a little bit. 26 a game. I think if he can get to, over 20, around sort of 22 a game while continuing to play at this high level. Remember, he does a fair bit on them for them defensively as well, because they are a thin team at the back there with the Plum Dog. So he has to carry a bit of the load there. But so far, it certainly has shown a maturity in his game and some growth. But it is going to be a little bit tougher to sustain if the Hornets keep winning, because he's going to attract a lot more attention. So yeah. I think it's treat-ish, yes. More treat than trick.
Okay, well, I mean, Bill Z in the stream team here, good point. Could be a trick. Terry Rozier and PJ Washington, the Chevy Trax of the NBA, are coming back at some point too. So maybe that take some shots from Miles Bridges and take some of the shine or points down a little bit. It's a possibility, but he's played great. TK, you buying it or not?
I'm buying it that I think he is good and improved and going to be a key piece for the Hornets, but I think that that's the exact point, is that once Terry Rozier comes back, once PJ Washington goes back, the usage rate for Miles Bridges is going to go down a little bit. Basically, his percentages and his per 36s are the same, except for he's taken a lot more shots this year because there are a lot more shots to go around. That being said, the confidence is there, and the team's confidence in him in his 4th season obviously has grown as well. So they're a little bit more comfortable giving him more responsibility while they got a couple of injuries here. But once those guys come back, Terry Rozier's a high usage player. PJ Washington plays a similar position as Miles Bridges. So you would think that it's quite likely, like the counting stats of, like Lee is saying, 26 points per game, that probably comes down. But 20, I think, is certainly reasonable for Miles Bridges.
Tass, trick or treat, Miles Bridges.
Well, we don't have these early season segments to say trick. I mean, that's not fun. Let's just treat it up. I do agree. Terry Rozier is a high usage player. That being said, with LaMelo Ball coming in and playing like he is, it seems like Terry Rozier is ripe for as a trade candidate. I understand he's solid. They signed him to a long-term deal, but the way with LaMelo Ball has grown, Miles Bridges got to thank LaMelo Ball for being around, for being a guy that can pass and is a very willing passer. And I think that helps Miles Bridges' numbers big time and the efficiency, even though, as Skeets pointed out, it's really surprising. We got people on the stream team saying, what are you talking about, that this guy is a three-point shooter, Miles Bridges?
He shot 40% last year. Yeah.
Yeah.
On a decent amount, Tabs. I mean, less than this year, but like nearly 5, right? Or something like that.
Yeah, I think it was, definitely between 4 and 5. And that's surprising. It is surprising to me. I agree with Lee. The feel of Miles Bridges is not this what I think of Miles Bridges as, but you watch a guy like Aaron Gordon, who spent most of his career in Orlando and had to do a lot of on the ball work and trying to create for others. Well, LaMelo creates for Miles Bridges, and I think that really helps him and his shot selection. But Miles Bridges is just a good shooter, I suppose. It just doesn't feel that way. It feels like that shot is flat. But it's an interesting mix. I think Miles Bridges will be happy to some degree that he doesn't have to do as much. I know he wants to take a lot of shots, but when Terry and PJ come back, the Chevy Trax, as you call him, Skeets, I think that it'll be a more natural fit. Like, he doesn't have to be a 28-point guy. You can still be a 23-point guy and be pretty freaking awesome in this league.
Yeah, I mean, I hear you, Tass. You don't want to say trick on some of these, but it could be what Miles is doing here through 10 games, similar to it was Andrew Wiggins a couple of years ago that started the season on fire, right? He couldn't miss a 3. He was averaging 25, and everybody's like, whoa, man, this guy is he's made the leap. This guy's turning into an all-star and in front of our very eyes. And I'm not comparing Miles Bridges to Andrew Wiggins, but I'm saying it does happen where guys just have these hot streaks and then they cool off and then fall back to earth. Yeah. He looks like a great player, though, for sure. So in terms of making the leap in that sort of regard, 25 point per game score. No, that's coming back to earth. You watch. Final one here. More free throws. Why not? Trick or treat. NBA free throws at an all-time low. I guess the question here, Trey, is will the refs continue to call the game like we've been enjoying it, letting a lot of things fly, letting them be physical, not getting roped into like some of the craftiness from the star players like Harden and Trey and all that we've talked about? Or will they just naturally go back to calling some of that stuff again and we'll get all upset again? Trick or treat?
They'll go back to calling the stuff again. It'll be a trick. I don't know. I think that we will see we will continue to see more physical play this year because I think it is fun. And I think obviously people like it, but we know that points of emphasis do not remain points of emphasis. So eventually the calls that we're used to seeing will come back, which means free throws will go up. I don't know what the current stats are for the fewest free throws per game or any of that kind of stuff because why on earth would you look that up? So I don't know. It's a trick to me. They're going to call more fouls eventually, but less fouls compared to last season.
Okay. Tass, what do you think?
Yeah, thankfully I'm an NBA sicko, but not at the level of looking up FTs and it's not my thing. The thing I agree with Trey. I mean, the point of emphasis, they tend to come back a little bit, but the good thing about what's happening right now is that there's just less flopping going on right now in the NBA, and that's on the players. That's on the players to stop doing that, and I think they stopped doing that because the whistles don't happen. So yes, the refs kind of gravitate back to what they used to call, but if the players continue to not flop, and because the calls aren't there, then maybe they kind of push each other in the right direction if they continue not to flop. And I think as Trey mentioned earlier, it hasn't. What hasn't been legislated out, what hasn't been written out of the rules is like that physicality part. What's been written out is the horizontal dives and the stopping, the Chris Paul booty stop. Those have been legislated out. But this physical play that, was this freedom of movement thing that the pendulum swung a little too far in one direction. And if you listen to any NBA players, they say, they just can't play defense anymore. Like that hasn't been written out of the rules. So maybe because it's not really a point of emphasis on that part, and there's less flopping, maybe it stays a little bit where guys can play some defense. At least that part, I think, could stick around. But yeah, I wonder on the perimeter if the refs just continue to be good at what they're doing. They're doing a really good job of just not biting anymore, and it is a lot more pleasurable for sure.
Lee?
Patrick Beverley the other night went in front of a defender and did that where he tries to bait the guy, and the guy fell on him, and the refs called an offensive foul on Patrick Beverley, and it was great. It was great. I mean, it seems crazy that they would call that as an offensive foul, but if this is what it takes to get rid of guys doing those ridiculous things in the backcourt midway through a quarter, then this is great for the game. So I know people think I'm a free throw connoisseur. I enjoy seeing pressure free throws like Julius Randle's last night to see how he's reacting, but nobody wants to see James Harden take 17 free throws in a game. Nobody. And that game the other night in Brooklyn there, where there was a couple of plays, I think Nate Duncan kind of threaded them there, where he was in this contact, then he flails his arms out like that, and they weren't calling it. And that is great. People don't want to see that. Nobody wants to see that. So it's a step in the right direction, and hopefully it does continue. I know that this is one of those things in the past where you weren't allowed to touch the ball after it came through the hoop, and they were calling delay of games on players and teams. Right. By the end of the season, no one was calling it. So this is different, though, and I hope it stays. Because I think it's one thing basketball fans agree on is that, seeing the game just stop and start because of the same guy taking, free throws in the teens, it's not a good product. It's not good for the game. It's not good for an audience.
Well, Silver has been talking for years about speeding up the game too. We got to make these faster. We're losing everybody attention with Generation Z here. They got no attention span. Well, this is one way to speed it up. Just less free throws, less stoppage. Like, keep that clock ticking. Let's go. We just got to clear this the clear path foul crap up, which is still just so embarrassing to the game. It's just we're just taking away highlights is the worst part, because guys are going to have breakaway dunks, but a guy can just reach out and say, nope, we don't want to give you that. So they got to try and get rid of that.
What do you make of the theory that since there are less calls on these offensive players, kind of baiting teams into fouling them, that there are now more intentional clear path fouls because players have more fouls to give? Which would you rather see, free throws or unguarded free throws?
Wow, if I have to pick one or the other.
You want the guarded free throws,
I legit hate clear paths.
It's dumb. It's so dumb.
I hate it. Because again, we're actually taking away one of the most entertaining things in basketball.
Yeah. And there's the take fouls as well, which is the same sort of thing. Yeah. The clear path gives you usually the free throws in the possession, whereas the take can just basically stop the play and you have to start again.
I know this sounds weird, but I wish officials with the clear path, like, guys reach out to stop it. I get it. They don't want to give up a fast break. I wish in those instances, because what happens a lot of the time is the guy just puts his arm out, maybe slaps the guy, but the guy keeps going. Like, he doesn't lose the ball. He doesn't get thrown over. He doesn't flop. Like, I wish they let that contact just go. It's like, no, that you got to literally tackle the guy if you want to.
You got to pull a Draymond.
In Australian rules football, they have the advantage rule. Or it is like that, where if it's like an infringement, but then the player can keep going. He can either say, all right, I stop and get the possession.
Sure.
Or I can just keep on going. And they encourage that because they exactly want that, where it's like, you can't just stop the game. The guy can sort of choose. And in the NBA, it'd be the same thing. Guy stops, he's like, well, I'm just going to go down and finish the play. Why not?
Yeah. Oh, okay.
That's it. Maybe the AFL and NBA is coming together. That's what I want to see.
Very nice. Very nice. Okay, trick or treat.
There's got to be a social media manager out there right now thinking, I'll get my players on a court and play this up, because they could sing along to a little NSYNC, right? But take fouls are all I have to give. Is that NSYNC or Backstreet Boys? Without you, I don't think I can win.
Yeah.
I wish I could give the world.
Backstreet Boys.
Are they?
Backstreet Boys.
Man, they're melding all together.
Oh, wow. It's like the AFL and NBA coming together.
That's the Backstreets.
It's a Backstreet. It's not new kids. It's not no dunks on the block. Wow.
All right, trick or treat. I think that was fun. Let's hear from all of you guys in the comments below with some of those early season trends, whether they're sustainable or not. Trick or treat. Let us know on Twitter at NoDunksInc. We're going to take our final break, but when we come back, we got tweet of the night, we got pick 'em, and we got some great rapid fire questions. So don't go anywhere.
Yeah, it's my favorite sound system and my favorite palindrome. Sonos.
Ooh. Oh, I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, it looks so cool on the logo. Anyway, they sent me a Sonos Beam, which is their compact soundbar for TV, but we use it for music and podcasts as well. And when it arrived, I obviously dropped everything, hooked it up to the TV, which is a total breeze. There's only 2 cables, and there's automatic remote detection. Which is pretty handy and very cool because you don't have to set up your TV remote or anything. And then I added it to the family. And that's the coolest thing about Sonos for me. You can start with 1 speaker and then expand over time. And all Sonos speakers are wirelessly connect over Wi-Fi. So you can group speakers in different rooms and play music throughout your home and different music in different rooms and stuff. We have 6 Sonos devices around the house. And as you know, I've named them all. Mr. Carlson, LeVar Burton, Coach Steve, the Olsen twins, Mo Verney, and now the Beam, which we're calling Dev Allahan, who is the character from Coronation Street that I'm supposed to be, according to a quiz that I took. But anyway,
you've got the same robe.
I was just gonna say that, Chas. That shirt is identical to the robe.
Oh, totally. Yeah, it's we have similar taste, no doubt. Anyway, I immediately put on a movie, one that has my one of my all-time favorite sound mixes. I'm not going to say what it is because it's a bit embarrassing. Suffice it to say, I was amazed. Sounds great. I can't believe the sound that comes out of this thing. But to say that the sound comes out is not quite accurate because the sound just sort of fills the room. And that's the Dolby Atmos at work, which maps sounds in space for a 3D effect. So you feel those planes flying overhead or footsteps moving across your room, or the music completely surrounds you. And as I said, control is easy. You can use the Sonos app. You can use your TV remote, Apple AirPlay 2, or your voice with Amazon Alexa or Google Assistant, neither of which I've used. Is there a better one? Is there a good one out there? Because I'm ready to be spied on.
My Google Assistant tells me once a week to water my orchids.
Hey, that's pretty nice. Pretty handy. All right.
I didn't set the reminder, though.
Ooh. Whoa.
And I only have 1 orchid.
Oh, it's watching you.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how it knows.
I don't know. It's kind of cool. I don't care that I'm being spied on. I'm going to try Google Assistant. Anyways, I love Sonos. I'm loving my Beam, a.k.a. Dev Allahan. I highly recommend it. If you want to know more, visit Sonos.com.
It's Halloween on Sunday, and if you're looking for something to do while waiting for trick-or-treaters, maybe you could try shopping for life insurance with Policy Genius. Get free quotes while giving out free candy. Just go easy on the Kit Kats. Policy Genius makes it easy to compare quotes from over a dozen top insurers all in one place. You could save 50% or more on life insurance.
Oh, come on. No.
Okay. By comparing quotes with Policy Genius, you can save $1,300 or more per year on life insurance by using Policy Genius to compare policies. The licensed experts at Policy Genius work for you. I can't believe it. Not the insurance company, so you can trust them to help you navigate every step of the shopping
of the ad read.
Of the shopping and buying process. And eligible applicants can get covered in as little as a week thanks to an award-winning policy option that swaps the standard doesn't help the standard medical exam requirement with a simple phone call. This exclusive policy was recently rated #1 by Forbes Advisor.
This one's sloppy.
Higher than options from Ladder, Ethos, and Bestow. Getting started is easy. First, head to policygenius.com. In minutes, you can work out how much life insurance coverage you need and compare personalized quotes to find your best price. When you're ready to apply, the Policy Genius team We'll handle the paperwork and scheduling for free. Policy Genius doesn't add on extra fees. Head to policygenius.com to get started right now. Policy Genius. When it comes to insurance, it's nice to get it right.
Good ending.
Nice to get it right.
All right, back with No Dunks. There it is, the legendary Policy Genius ad read. Once again, highly encourage you, if you're not following No Dunks Inc. on TikTok, to do so, because I know our guy, Graphic Mark, has that up there. I watched it this morning, and I was in tears again, especially seeing Lee try and get through it. And it looks like you're back on track, and then you just keep losing it. We're falling out of our chairs, so go check that out on TikTok. JD, please just keep that in the mix for the next month or maybe year. That's always worth a laugh. Just tell Policy Genius to come back. Yeah. Okay. Let's get to tweet of the night.
Tweet of the night. Wow.
Twitter.
TOTN. Better yet, TTOTN. This is the TikTok of the night. Not a tweet. Actually, probably didn't come out at night either. And
Great.
didn't come out yesterday. That being said, this one's for Lee Ellis. Jimmy Butler showing us his coffee making routine. Jimmy obviously has dipped his toes into the coffee game. First with Big Face Coffee down there in the bubble. And now he's like actually going to try and sell coffee pretty much. He was showing off how finely tuned his skills are, Lee. Think you would ever put together one of these videos for our TikTok at No Dunks Inc? People want to see how you get busy in the kitchen with your tampon.
Yeah, I think maybe there is something there. I'll look into it. I'm trying to sort of see what machine that Jimmy's got going there. It's a
Run it
pretty
back,
fancy
JD.
one.
Let's see this thing again. Walk me through it, Lee. What's he doing?
What's he doing, Lee? Okay.
Well, he's obviously he's grinded, and then he's packing his puck there. Then he's loading it in. Now that's the tough part, is making sure you get the pressure right.
Yeah,
because you want it to be at a certain. You don't want it too watery, you don't want it too groundy, if you know what I mean, with the coffee there. So you got to get the pressure right there. Looks like he's using regulation milk there. I'd prefer it if he was using the oat milk, but
he uses oat. That's oat milk.
That's oat milk, is it? Yeah. Okay, great.
And he's not even tamping his own beans.
Well,
he's got an auto tamper.
Yeah.
He's got an auto tamper. You manually tamp it, Butler. Manually tamp that thing.
Yeah. Let's see. That's okay. We didn't. Right.
Keep talking.
Yeah, okay. No, I'm just sort of seeing what he's doing there. Yeah, it's even like an interesting sort of cup. I guess he's going out somewhere with that. That's why he's putting the lid on it. But
it's a good.
Lee, I'll look into it. Yeah.
Lee, were you bounced from that coffee WhatsApp group chat that was going on with Jay and Zach Cox and Thody and I think you were kicked out of it because you weren't.
I don't think I've been kicked out. I don't. I think it just died a natural death. At some point.
I think it's still going.
Is it? Have I been removed?
I believe so. You were bringing it.
Yeah. No, I was a hands-off participant, but it evolved into sort of alcoholic drinks as well, like late-night drinks, everything. So it was growing, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But it's still there as far as I know. I'll check it out anyway, but I haven't contributed.
Send
for a
a
while.
quick message. Well, since you put together your TikTok, you can definitely share it in there. Do you think that'd be worth $20, Lee? I think that's what Jimmy was charging, right? $20 for any cup.
Yeah, people do pay for premium coffee if it's good. People don't mind. So I don't know. I got to get together with Jimmy and maybe we can coffee it out and see what we can do there. Yeah,
sounds great.
What would you, if you had to do a play on Big Face Coffee, Lee? What would you call yours?
Big Face Coffee. Yeah. You put me on the spot here.
Big Coffa Doffa.
Do you think Lowry's going to do a big ass coffee?
There you go. That's much better.
That's what he should do. All right, great tweet/TikTok of the night there from Trey. Pick 'em results from last night. We had the Knicks-Bulls game. Bulls were favored by 2.5 at home. And, well, they lost. Money line hit for the Knicks, and Tass was the only one to take New York. So that's a nice win for him. You're 4-4, Tass. So is Trey. Lee's 5-3, and I'm 3-5. So everybody's in this. I guess we never decided are we doing the short month of October? Sure.
Are we even doing pick 'em payoffs anymore?
I mean, I owe 2. I'll probably owe a third here. I'm just like, I just want to get up to like 10 or something that I owe you guys.
Yeah, make it really severe.
Yeah, just death. You just have to kill me. Well,
I mean, except that
killed him. Yeah.
I can't believe no response from that video I sent of a guy getting Versace patterns shaved into his mustache. We all got a little bit of a mustache going on here. You guys want to throw down some quick patterns here on one of your stripes?
I brought up to Nora. I was like, I should do Movember this year.
Go for a mustache.
But then she made a good point. She's like, yeah, but the whole point is you're supposed to like shave everything and then grow a mustache. And I was like, oh yeah, I don't want to do that. I just want to take the beard off and have a creepy mustache. I think that should count too.
That should definitely count.
Right.
At least for a pick and payoff. And honestly, you can pull off a mustache if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's every guy with a mustache looks a little creepy. So there's a bit of that, but it's okay.
Yeah, you could do it.
I mean, I gotta get rid of that too. Yeah.
Yeah. Just wear a mustache for the month of November.
For the whole month, eh?
Yes.
Wow, that's the equivalent of eating an Arby's sandwich, isn't it? I don't mind it. There's something there. Okay, I think we should do something with the mustache.
You look so good at that World Series game with a mustache.
I am going on Sunday night. No, that's October 31st. Yeah.
And as Ignatius points out, you throw on that Luigi hat you got along with your mustache. Mamma mia.
Okay. All right.
That's a cool Halloween costume,
I owe a lot. I do owe a lot. So I got to start getting creative here. Okay, mustaches. We're doing something with the mustache. Well, we can lock that in. Heck, maybe I'll be here on Monday morning rocking one for all you guys know. But anyway, tonight's game brought to you by BetMGM. Tass, where are we going tonight? I mean, I'm still not out of this month, I guess. So where are we going here?
Well, let's go to the home of the big face coffee maker and the number 1 defense in the NBA. The Miami Heat are hosting Charlotte. Now, this is a classic Southeast Division battle. The Heat host as a 5.5-point favorite. That's a pretty large number, IMO, because the Hornets are atop the division, tied with the Wizards at 4-1. What's going on here? The Heat are half game back at 3-1. If you look at the Eastern Conference standings, actually, it's pretty nuts. It's a little early in the season, obviously, but the top 12 teams are within 2 games of each other. And so the Heat and Hornets, just half game apart, 5.5 at home. I'm feeling the Heat on this one, and so are Trey and Lee. Skeets, you're swerving. You don't like being in the basement here. You don't want to be wearing the mustache plus the hat combo. So you're going Charlotte 5.5. You can still lose by 5. That's a big line.
I just got to pray for a close game. Miles Bridges keeps dominating here. Yeah. I think it's possible. But the Heat look good, too. I'm high on the Heat. I think they've looked awesome in the games I've watched. So they're going to be one of the better teams in the Eastern Conference. Just got to keep Charlotte or hope Charlotte keeps it close enough. Get me back into this thing. Tie me up with 2 others if they win, or at least if they cover. All right. Go Buzz.
So we're going to call it after today. Let's say Skeets, you lose. If we tie it, it's me, you, and Trey. We'll all do something dumb.
Mustache Monday.
Wow.
Mustache Monday.
Oh, okay. I don't mind that. All right.
Well,
that makes
great.
Mondays
Very
very
Trey if he has to do that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Versace.
We'll figure something out.
How did the guy get Versace? How do you do that? I don't think my mustache has got the guts to be able to hold something like we've done it with Lee's head, Lee's hair. Yep. We shaved some stuff in there, but mustachios, that's tough.
Yeah, it was pretty intricate. It was like, first like a little trimmer, then some scissors, and then the last was like one stray hair getting plucked out with a pair of tweezers, and that one sounded like it hurt. Getting a mustache hair plucked. Ouch.
Ooh, no, thank you. Well, let's wrap up this rapid fire. Let's wrap up this drop with some rapid fire. Trey, you got the questions for us? We got the answers. Let's do it.
That's right. A great story in the New York Times recently from Scott Cacciola about Klay Thompson, who commutes to work, basketball, in a 37-foot fishing boat. Klay is so into boating that he's even banned bananas on his boat because bananas are supposed to bring bad energy to a boat.
Wow.
Yeah, sorry, Lee. You'll never be able to visit Klay Thompson's 37-foot fishing boat and go to work with him. That being said, guys, what's a superstition you simply must follow? Skeets.
Very, very simple one. I think a lot of you guys agree. Probably a lot of people in the stream team too do. Can't leave a court on a miss. You gotta leave on a make, right? You can't leave a gym having missed your last shot. Even if it's usually you want to hit a three. It's got to at least be a jumper or even just the ball going through the net. Never, never, ever leave a gym on a miss. That's mine.
That's a great one. JD, what you got?
Yeah, I'm not very superstitious, but I will always touch or knock on wood whenever making some sort of prediction or say, well, if we arrive at wherever, knock on wood. It just is. I have to do it. Otherwise, you're overwhelmed with dread or something. You know what I mean? It's just something unfinished business. So I gotta get to wood, and I also do the cheesy dad joke where I just knock on my head.
Oh yeah,
if wood is not readily available.
That was going to be my next question. Are you particular about the wood? But if you're knocking on heads, obviously not. I think that's the way to go.
Formica, even if in a pinch.
As long as it's hard.
That's
Isn't
right.
that right, ladies? Lee, how about you? Got any superstitions you simply must follow?
Yeah, not really. A bit like JD, I don't have any, but I do always now, or not always, but forever I have. Anytime I see a black cat, I'm always like, I'm not sure if this is good luck or bad luck, so I just stay away just in case. I'm not sure if it's like if it runs in front of you, if you just see one, if you're supposed to acknowledge it. So I still do just get a little nervous around pure black cats, and that's it. But I don't really know why. But I just let me just avoid them just to be safe. I think that's the right thing.
Black cats have always been good luck in my house. My mom's from Northern Ireland. She's super superstitious. Like salt, don't spill salt, man. Salt flying everywhere. If you do. But if she sees a black cat, it's one of the good ones, right? It's like, ooh, black cat, that's lucky. You saw a black cat, that's lucky. Yeah. So that's it's just you decide, and then that's your superstition. So just go with good luck.
You guys say you're not superstitious, but would you walk under a ladder? Like no problem?
100%, yes.
Okay. Lee?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Scaffolding and that the same thing, like I just, all right.
Shout out to Klay Thompson.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great comments. A lot of people commenting as Philip A did. I'm not superstitious, just a little stitious.
Very nice. I guess we all are. We all are a little bit. All right, next one.
Man, I'm glad to hear that black cats are good luck because our neighborhood cat is a black cat and it's always sitting in the first. Makes me very nervous. Our second rapid fire question. LeBron was caught recently off mic telling Anthony Davis that he liked Netflix's Squid Game, but wasn't a fan of the ending, which made his way back to Squid Game creator Bong Joon-ho, who said, quote, "That's my ending. If he has his own ending that would satisfy him, maybe he could make his own sequel. I'll check it out and maybe send him a message saying, I liked your whole show except the ending." To which LeBron responded, "This can't be real, right? I hope not." Fellers, what's an ending you would like to change? Skeets.
I'm going to stick with basketball. I'm going to stick with LeBron. Final 15 seconds of the 2016 NBA Finals, Game 7. Cavs up 3. Inbounding the ball with like 18 seconds to go, but there's like only 14 on the shot clock. Warriors obviously need to stop to try and win the title. Kyrie drives. He dishes to a cutting LeBron, who attempts to end the life of Draymond Green. I would change it so that LeBron successfully pulls off this dunk. And it would have been, of course, a legendary dunk. It's so legendary, we talk about it, and it's a missed dunk that was a foul, right? Like he got a piece of his body there, and he went to the floor pretty hard and hurt his wrist and all that. But man, oh man, it would have just been fun. Yeah, he's got the block, of course, in this series. They came back from 3-1, all that. bringing a title to Cleveland, but Lee, if he had pulled that off, that's just one of the greatest dunks in NBA history. Just the timing of when it would occur, who is it on, and Draymond Green and all that. So just a little twist, a little change for me there.
Great one. Would have been LeBron's best dunk of his career. JD, what you got?
There's a few obvious ones. The Lost ending, very disappointed in. I hated the ending of Usual Suspects. I hate that movie so very much. But I'm going recency bias. Thursday night or Wednesday night's episode of Survivor.
Smash that hourglass, buddy.
I'm still sitting in tribal council here, waiting for tribal council. I will continue to wait until next Thursday, until somebody gets voted out. But what a dog of an episode, and just the ending of it was just like so the saddest of sad trombones. And it was supposed to be a cliffhanger. Awful.
Wow.
So it wasn't a good time to get in,
it. No, it wasn't a good time to get in. But we had a blast talking about it, Lee. Check out No Buffs, our YouTube channel, and Apple and Spotify and all that. We talked about it for 90 minutes, so it couldn't have been that bad. Yeah. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, go check that out. We recorded that yesterday. No Buffs, breaking down Erica's Choice and the huge merge twist. Right.
Digging for rocks in this photo. I love that.
That's right.
What color rock?
Lee, what do you got for this?
The 1999 Cricket World Cup final. Because Australia in the preliminary final had an incredible comeback against South Africa. And then in the semi-final had the most incredible hang-on to victory, where it was actually a draw. But because Australia finished higher in the standings, they advanced to the final. Two of the most incredible back-to-back one-day cricket games we've ever seen. And then the final against Pakistan, absolute stinker. We killed them in the final and we won. But it was like, we played two unbelievable matches, and then we get to the final, and it was a bit of a snoozer. And then in 2007, the same sort of thing happened in the final against Sri Lanka in the West Indies. Rain became a factor, and in cricket, like, you don't sort of play the next day. You just shorten the game, and you shorten the amount of overs one team has, and they call it the Duckworth-Lewis method, where it's like, okay, one team scored. I know. Let me explain. It's crazy. Let's say Australia scored 250 runs of 50 overs, let's say. Well, because of rain, Sri Lanka only gets 38 overs and they only have to score 178. And if they do that, they win. Really took a whole lot out of it. Australia won 3 World Cups in a row, and they didn't lose for like 8 years. A couple of the finals, though, stinkers. 2003 finals, all right, in South Africa against India. That was a good game. But other than that, disappointing.
Can you say
like
the
Super
rule
Bowl,
again? The Duckworth what?
Duckworth
Lewis. Yeah. They basically just make it so that you end the game on that day, and you have a smaller total based on a run rate calculated on fewer overs.
Yeah,
it really makes it crap, because you're like, so they scored 250, but we could win if we only score 135 or something like that. It depends on it.
Why can't you play in the rain?
Oh, it's like the pitch is all grass, so it gets all wet, and the ball would be soggy, and it wouldn't bounce.
It wouldn't bounce.
Right. Cool. Can't believe I actually had all of those on my list as well. Those finals were wild, man. Crazy
2003
stuff.
was all right.
I mean, who would have thought Adam Gilchrist would have beaten Ricky Ponting's record? No one, but he did. Incredible stuff.
I thought Ponting was unbeatable.
Yeah, so did I.
Nobody will ever catch Ponting. Is what I would tell all my friends when we were sitting around talking cricket. Final rapid fire question. It's been 8 days since Sidetalk NYC uploaded their iconic Bing Bong riot video from the Knicks home opening win. 5.2 million views later.
Wow.
Who's your favorite character from this video? Skeets.
Oh, man. Yeah, I've seen your top 5 on Twitter, Trey. I loved it. I agreed with a lot of them. It's always changing. I mean, it's sort of like I think you should leave, in terms of rankings of your skits. Like, you've got some that are just gold. And you're like, there's no way that's not going to be the best. And then a week later or a couple days later, it drops a little bit because another one comes up. So I'm doing that with this video. But right now, I really like what you call the fresh out the garden baby guy. I also call the we taking it all the way guy. It's the guy with the small roach. And I think we have a clip here. Somebody roll this bad boy.
Fresh out the garden, baby. We're taking it all the way.
Okay. Love this guy for a couple reasons. One, he's wearing a Mets jersey. I love that. Nice little detail. He's got the tiny roach that he's smoking there on 7th Ave. And I love his like insane New York accent. I want to hear this guy say I'm walking here so bad.
Oh yeah.
And the point to the sky. I love it. He's fresh out of the garden and he's we're taking it all the way. So that's
Fresh out the garden, baby. We're taking it all the way.
We're taking it all the way.
That guy gets me fired up too.
Yeah.
Rapidly rising on my list. I've been known to enjoy a festivity just like this man. So for a long time with our buddy Joel, we've called it talking about the war.
Yeah.
But from now on, I call it getting fresh out the garden.
Ooh,
I think that's just such a great term because we're taking it all the way. JD, who's your favorite guy out there?
I'm not going to overthink this, although I would like to shout out the editor and the sound mixer of this because it's an incredible job. Like it's Emmy caliber, to stand. I've been in these situations and just to have all of these maniacs screaming into the mic and not a lick of distortion. It's just,
it's a good point.
It is a chef's kiss of production. So shout out to, so what is it? Street Talk NYC?
Yep.
Side Talk.
Yeah, right. What is it?
Sidetalk NYC.
Sidetalk NYC. I'm sorry. This stupid fucking Zoom. Anyways, I'm going with this guy. He's a classic. We've seen him many times. We're calling him Baba Booey.
Fuck Boston.
I mean, the is great, but then the loser on the forehead, the Farley-esque dance with fuck Boston, and then the shriek afterwards is, again, he is just awesome.
Fuck Boston.
He's so good they go back to him in the video, right? He gets you splice those together. He has 2 scenes within this little clip.
Right,
so that's how good he is. Okay, great.
Lee, you got a guy?
Yeah, I was Bing Bong early on, but really I overlooked the guy who had a question for Kevin Durant. So,
tell me a little something, KD. Don't you regret not coming to the Knicks? Don't you regret not coming to the Knicks?
Because he turns it into a mosh pit.
Yeah,
I mean, the power that guy generates there, and just that like obnoxious, like, don't you regret not coming to the Knicks?
And then like the whole crowd is just ready to start jumping with him. It looks like all of New York is on his side. Tash, you got a favorite guy out there?
From the moment one, I was, don't you regret not coming to the Knicks? Especially the edit, because it's all Bing Bong, and then he's the change of pace guy. So that sucked me in. That guy is great.
Yeah, that goes Baba Booey, Bing Bong. Don't you regret not coming to the Knicks? That's like 11 seconds of bangers back to back to back. Incredible stuff.
It's so good. Like here's the crazy part with this video. Deezus from Deezus and Mero is in this video, and almost no one mentions it because every other character is crazy. But here he is.
The New York Knicks run New York City.
And it's like nobody even talks about it. It took me like 10 times watching the video to realize it was him because you're just caught up in all the other guys. I do like the guy from Dude Perfect though, and his
Knicks are here, baby. The Knicks are fucking here, baby.
It's not the guy from Dude Perfect.
I was going to say,
I like that guy too. They're all gold.
They're all gold. Honestly, I think this is the best thing to happen to the Knicks in 20 years. This video coming out. It makes the Knicks more likable than they've been in 20 years.
Yeah.
It's not even close. Like, what's the last thing that was this cool for the Knicks? Linsanity.
Yeah.
Linsanity would have to be there. Yeah, that's a good call. Do we have the first guy in the video? I love that guy too. He sets the tone.
Oh yeah, this guy?
Double fucking overtime! What the fuck, baby? New York is fucking back!
What a start. What a great decision to start that video with that guy.
Oh, it gets you hyped right away.
Yeah.
You always got to set the scene.
Yeah.
First class in television. Set the scene. Where are we? We're in a double overtime game. We're in Madison Square Garden.
Great. What a video. And look, I mean, the truth is, who will have the everlasting quote from this? It's Mr. Bing Bong himself for sure. And that's fine.
The Bing Bong guy himself.
Yeah.
Bing Bong!
I think he's got alerts set up on his phone that anytime anyone mentions Bing Bong on Twitter, it's like, oh, someone said it, because he's always got to respond and defend it. And he's selling shirts. Him and Sons in 4 guy have really had a great last
You have to. You have to, seize the opportunity or seize the moment. And he has. What a video. Okay, great. That's Rapid Fire. That's the Drop Podcast. Thank you so much for joining us here. Shout out to the stream team. Email in your questions, NBA ones, non-NBA ones, nodunks@theathletic.com. Hit us up on Twitter @NoDunksInc. Drop a comment below the vid. Subscribe, like, share our YouTube channel with any NBA fan you know. Grab yourself an Athletic subscription. Go to theathletic.com/nodunk so they know that we sent you. Great deals to be had right now to get yourself an Athletic subscription. And we will be back on Monday. Will we have mustaches? Who knows? Will the Braves be World Series champions? Who knows? But we will be here to break down a very busy NBA weekend. So hopefully you'll join us at 10 a.m. Eastern, live back on YouTube. Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us. And I just wanted to apologize to the legends that are Backstreet Boys and NSYNC. And I threw I screwed it up again. New Kids on the Block. I melded them all together. I always do. Yeah, they kind of blend together. But if there was a boy band created by us, like No Dunks on the Block, I'm showing you a graphic here, an incredible graphic created by Caitlin in Arkansas, but originally from the SOG. We just talked about Jesus. He loves the SOG. Anyways, from Mississauga, we would have stood out. This is an incredible graphic. Skeets got a ponytail, man.
I was going to say, is that, Lee's got to be the guy in the glasses in the middle. That's cool. You got a ponytail. Maybe I'll grow that too for Monday.
Yeah. Okay. Happy November. I'll throw this on social media, or else just come check it out on YouTube.
I guess the big question with that graphic is why?
Why anything?
Why anything?
Content. I mean, I guess because it sounds like, no kids, no dunks.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Embrace the weekend, people.
You could stay